Hello everybody and welcome to Kdh Art Class. Today we're going to continue to talk about texture. Texture is how something feels or looks like it feels. And we're going to be focusing our attention on weaving. So weaving is where you have sets of lines that are going in one direction and other lines that are going in the other direction, and you create a pattern of an over under technique, and you can start creating your weaving. Now some kids at home, or adults, if you're one of my adult followers, you may not have a lot of materials at home. I have a crazy amount of materials at my home. Of course, I'm an elementary art teacher. I never have enough. Alright. For this project, all you're going to need is paper. Alright. Something to draw lines with. It could be pencil. I'm going to use marker so you can see it. Something to help you with straight lines, which is going to be my ruler, but of course you know that could be another piece of paper, or it could just be, you know, a folder or something like that. And we're going to just kind of start to understand how to do weaving using just drawing and kind of create that look. Okay, this is a beginner project. If you are interested in any of the actual weaving, I have a bunch of different videos that show you how to do weaving on cardboard, weaving on a paper plate. I don't have an example of this because it's at my school right now, but you can use popsicle sticks and weave inside there. I even have done God's eyes, where you find sticks and twigs in the yard and you weave them together. And speaking of sticks and twigs, or you find just a really wonderful looking tree branch and you just add your colors to it and do the weaving in between the branches. This one was so much fun. But I digress. If you are interested in the actual texture that you can feel and you have the materials, feel free to look at one of the other videos. This one is just going to give us the introduction of weaving from a paper standpoint. Okay, it looks like it's weaving, so it's almost like a checkerboard, but we're going to kind of mix it up. This was a quick sample. I'm also going to be showing the comparison of the paper weaving to this, so that it makes a little bit more sense of how this is going to help you weave later on when you do get materials and you can start weaving. Alright, with that said and done, let's move this stuff to the side. Let's get our piece of paper and let's make our lines. So to make it simple, I'm going to do a line that's kind of thick and a line that's kind of skinny, and I'm going to follow that AB pattern: thick and thin. Okay. Thick and thin, thick and thin. Oh, of course it helps if I don't draw on my ruler, but I actually draw on the paper. Okay, and then I have a nice thick one and a little thin one at the end, or however you want it to be. Alright, so I have my lines going in this direction. Okay, so I tried to do the same thing here with thick and thin lines. Okay, just again for the comparison. Now weaving is when you take pieces of paper, and you go over, under, over, under, over, under. Whether you're using paper, yarn, found objects, nature things, right? Over, under, over, under. The trick is for the opposite, you have to, where the purple paper's on top here, this one is going to go under. And that's why I say thick and thin. So this purple paper went under the skinny ones. This one is going to go under the thick ones. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. My first puppy dog has come into the room, so be ready for barking. So it's going to look kind of like a checkerboard. Okay, and then of course the next one goes under skinny ones. Come on, paper, behave. Okay. And then under the thick ones, and so on and so forth. So we're going to create that type of illusion over here. Okay. So now that we have these vertical lines, we're now going to do the horizontal ones. So taking something that's straight, whether it's a edge of a book, of course don't tell your librarian I said that, or a ruler, or the edge of a Kleenex box, something like that, you're just going to go ahead and add some lines going across. Now these I'm not worried about if they're thick or thin. But they can be the same, or I think I might get a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger, and a little bit bigger, just for a little variety. Okay. But here's the thing. Just like the purple went over, under the skinny, over the big, under the skinny, over the big, under the skinny, over the big, I'm going to make it look like the same here. Okay. So I'm going to start with the bigger section here. So the purple's on top of the big. So I'm going to just take my color, go over the big, and for each line I recommend 2 colors. So I'm just going to start with the yellow and purple. These are complementary colors. And then it went under the skinny one, so they're going to leave that. Over, and in fact, you don't even need to have 2 colors. I could do this with just the one. In fact, I may do that because it's going to match that. Forget about that one. Skip it. And do the next one. Skip the skinny one because it's going under it and goes on top of the paper on this next one. And it's going to pretend like it's going under. I'm doing a terrible job coloring, please forgive. Constantly explaining to my students that I want them doing the work, not watching me do the whole thing. So that's why I kind of rush through my examples here. Okay, over and then under. Okay, so similar to what I did there. Now the other one, it's the opposite. You do not go on top of the paper here. You go over the skinny ones. So skip this one because it's going under, and then it goes over. So those that have already made the connection to the checkerboards or the chessboards, yeah, under, so the white's going to stay on top, and over, under, over, under, and over, under, and over. So this is just understanding the pattern so that when you do get the materials, you can do it with the paper, or you can then do it with the yarn. You just attach the strings and then you go over and under the strings, just like we're pretending to do here, just like you would actually do here, you would actually do over there. All right, then we repeat the next one. Over, I should do my outline first. I like to turn my paper around a lot when I'm coloring, make it easier for me, but it might confuse you if I move my paper. Then I went under the skinny one. I'm going on top or over the paper on this one. Under. Over. Under. On top or over. Under. On top of this one, so we're going over the paper, under, and then do the opposite. So we're under this one, which means we're on top of the skinny one this time. So we're on top of the skinnies. And of course you can do this with multiple colors, but I'm trying to keep it nice and simple so that you can make the connection to the weaving. And then the opposite, we're on top of this one, so we're over the big lines and under the skinny lines on this round. And I'm almost done. Of course, any spot that you're getting confused, or if I'm going too fast, please feel free to pause the video, rewind the video, or whatever you need to do to help you better understand the lesson. Get this last one on this row. You can tell I'm concentrating, I got quiet. And then the skinny ones on this bottom one. And there you go. You have created a visual weaving. You can't actually touch it like you can this one or this one, but it's the start. Over, under, over, under, over, over, under, over. Got ahead of myself. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And the opposite, and the opposite. And the opposite, go into the skinny ones. And as long as you maintain this pattern, you'll get a really cool checkerboard weaving. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it helps you understand weaving. Weaving is usually done to produce fabrics. And of course the fabrics you can feel, which is texture, how something feels or looks like it would feel. Enjoy this project and tune in for some more great activities at Kdh Art Class. Bye.